Hello. I am thrilled that you are watching this video because it means you are considering taking my masterclass. And so first off, thank you for doing that. And second off, I just want to acknowledge that if you are considering the masterclass seriously, it's probably because you are embracing some kind of significant change or transition, maybe even multiple, because let's be honest, sometimes they come in pairs and trios, and it feels tough. And I just, again, want to acknowledge you for being willing to do this and the weight that can carry. So this video is intended to help you have more information so that you can make a decision that feels right for you. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we do and a little bit more about the timing and why I've chosen the specific timing and cadence that we'll do. So starting with what we do, right? The masterclass is scheduled as 5 90-minute sessions, and they build on each other. So the first two are what I consider our foundation. During the first one, we focus on grounding and really grounding ourselves by finding our center through stillness. What this looks like is a little different for each person, and that's why it's kind of hard to explain all of it. And to give that clear picture, but what I'll do is really create that container for internal growth and reflection. I am not teaching specific things that I will then want you to replicate exactly, because you're different than I am. And so I create the container in the space. I send you gifts, I give you tools, I teach you strategies, and you're making it your own. So on that first session, it is that focus on grounding. Exactly what it will look like will be a little different for each person. And then we build on that with the second foundational session, which is looking at what happens when we have distractions. Now, everybody has distractions. During a transition, it can be even more so, because we not only have the distractions that would keep us from doing what we intended to do, but we also have the distractions often of like multiple paths or multiple endpoints even. And we're trying to figure it all out. So distractions is a pretty important element of what we need to navigate when we are navigating a transition. In these first two, I also am teaching some of the basics of how do we tap into some different kind of processing that let us hear our intuition better and let us think in different ways. And those ways of processing are tapping into some of our visual and kinesthetic tools rather than just our verbal. We often as a society rely more on the verbal. We talk about talking it through or writing things out in our journal. We forget that our thinking is not always a verbal process. So if our processing tools tap into some visual and kinesthetic, that actually gives us more space to think. And it brings clarity in some different ways. So journals during this time may not look like you normally think of a journal. It may look something like this, right? It may have almost no words at all, like something like this, right? It may leave a lot of space for words to be added. It may be a capturing of some of the many things that you're being confronted with. Right? This is not about creating art. It's not about a product or outcome. It is about helping us process and think using as many skills and strategies as we can. During sessions 3, 4, and 5, we build on that foundation. So in those sessions, which I sometimes vary depending on the group and what the group needs next, include how do we lean into emotion and recognizing again the very complex and deep emotions that can be part of a transition. It also includes how do we think differently about our journal, from it being someplace to record our thoughts to being a place where we transform our thinking. And ultimately, like, how do we use this space of clarity that we are building in order to take action and identify what are our gifts to the world as a result of this? I've set this up not as an intensive, we're going to do it all at once, but as a sequence over 5 months, very deliberately, because I want each person to be able to build a sustained and sustainable practice. And that means actually having time, right? So we meet on Saturday mornings, honestly, because I found that's when it has the greatest impact. I think because like we've finished our work week generally, we haven't yet jumped into the next week. So we have this space where we might think a little bit differently, which is perfect for growth and reflection and potential change. Right? And then we meet just once a month so that between sessions you have time. You have time to think on, reflect further, take action from where you are, practice what we did during the Saturday session, and be able to really make it your own. So that's where we are with it. If this kind of container of space for growth feels like what you need in supporting the transition that you need to make, please reach out to me. All the information that you need is on this page, I think, but I also know you may have individual questions. So send me an email with anything that you want to know, and let me help you on your journey if this feels like a good fit for you. Have a great day.